What's up, everybody? My name is Harry, and welcome to Experience Within. So this is going to be part 3, and in this part, I will be speaking about Audible books that I've listened to. So in the past, when I originally started listening to Audible books, I was working for the phone company as a field technician, and I'd mainly be working on the telephone cables, splicing them. So I would be sitting sometimes for hours, splicing thousands of wires together. And so during this work period, I was able to listen to a lot of Audible books. Because when I got home, I had other things to do. I had other interests. I was working on my CNC routing machine, my laser machine, creating things, as well as creating the torus coils, making those, winding the wires and doing the wrap and everything. So it was a lot of stuff I was doing. So I didn't have time at home to read a book. So it was perfect that I discovered Audible books and I was able to spend a lot of time working and listening to the books. So that was a great thing for me. So I'm going to be showing you my list of books. And so we'll just jump right into that. So I find this interesting. This is my purchase history on Audible books. You can see the very first book was June 22nd, 2011. That's when I got my account. And it's interesting to me because I see the progression from the regular books to the spiritual books and things like that, and astral projecting. So I'm just going to quickly show you the books, and I'll speak briefly about the books that really inspired me and changed my life for the better, got me on the spiritual path. So here we go. We're in 2011. And a lot of these books are really good. I'm not doing a book review now about these books that I've listened to, but a lot of them were really good. A lot of them were books that I always wanted to read, but never had the time or never made the time to read. And so that's a great thing about Audible books. So here's 2011. 2012 is here. Yeah, again, like these were great books, but this is not about those books. So I just want you to see, now we're in 2013. And the book I'm going to start with is The Serpent of Light by Drunvalo Melchizedek. This book, after listening to it, I came upon the crossroads. I was on this road that branched off into a Y. Peace. So I had to decide, was Drunvalo a nut job and was telling me a bunch of lies, or is he telling the truth? So it was something I really struggled with because the stories and information was so far beyond anything I ever heard before. It was just really the book that brought me to the crossroads. And I decided to take the right path and believe what was said. And in doing that, I ended up researching Drunvalo Melchizedek and discovering he had another book called The Flower of Life. And more importantly, he had a meditation called Awakening the Illuminated Heart. That was very powerful meditation. And I was very happy to go on that journey, which just really took me on another level, because the very first time I learned this meditation and did the meditation wearing a mindfold, which is a blindfold that doesn't let any light in, and having my eyes closed underneath, I saw with my third eye. And doing this meditation, I was able to see the room around me with my eyes closed, to the point where this is the first time this has happened to me, and it freaked me out. And I pulled my blindfold off, and I was like, holy cow, what just happened? So anyway, Serpent of the Light is going to be the first book on my list, because that's the book that got me on my spiritual path. The next is Proof of Heaven. And Proof of Heaven is about a neurosurgeon who has a death experience, and with his medical knowledge explains everything he experienced medically, and then he explains it spiritually. Very good book. I enjoyed it. Lies My Teacher Told Me, read it. It's a good one. I learned about the Native Americans in this country, that the atrocities that were done to them. And as the book says, Lies My Teacher Told Me, he's telling the truth in here. And it's really amazing to hear the true history of America. And there's a lot of information in there that was just really good. I enjoyed it. Journey of Souls, great information about the spirit realm. In this book, Michael Newton speaks about all the people he hypnotized and regressed into past lives, and the stories that they told about being in a past life, in the spirit realm, before and between lives. And it was just amazing because there were so many different people that don't know each other that all describe the same type of information. So there's like 2 or 3 of these similar books to that on my list, and that's definitely a must listen to or read. And here's another one, Same Soul, Many Bodies. Same type of information, hypnosis, regression. I'm really attempting to make this video as fast as I can. So I will say the books I'm pointing out now are the ones that I would suggest listening to. Some of them you could find on YouTube being read. Otherwise, get an Audible account and purchase the books. Heaven is for Real is another one. They made a movie about this one. And basically, in here, the little boy dies, and when he comes back to life, he's telling his mother and father the stories about what he experienced in death. And so he speaks about seeing Jesus Christ, and he speaks about seeing his father's father, his grandfather on his father's side. And I'll jump to one story I thought was really cool, and that's the story of the Jesus Christ. So when he comes back to life later on, his mother and father are asking him all the time, "Oh, is this what Jesus looked like?" And they're showing him different photos of and paintings and drawings of Jesus Christ. And so he was like, "No, no, no, no." Until one day they're having breakfast in the kitchen, and the TV's on with the news, and the news program is talking about a young girl, and she did a painting of Jesus Christ. So long story short, the little boy sees the painting on the TV and says, "That's Jesus, that's him, that's who he saw." So ever since then, I found that photo, and I'll share that picture with you here. And I look at this as the true image of Jesus Christ, because the story I heard about the image we always see with the long flowing hair, what I heard was that image was of the artist found some criminal, right? It turned out this person was a criminal, and they used him as a model for the painting of Jesus Christ. And so that's not what Christ looked like at all. This image is the true image of Jesus Christ, in case you were curious. So Heaven is for Real, really good. Again, these are all great books, but I'm skipping over them. I'm not reviewing these books. 3 Magic Words is not available on Audiobooks anymore. I don't know why. But the 3 magic words is I am God. And in this book, they're going to be speaking about all these different reasons. It's interesting. The Power of Now is very powerful by Eckhart Tolle. The information in here for my wife and I was jaw-dropping. And everyone who I spoke to who read or listened to this book, we all had the same experience. I don't think there's anybody on this planet, because the book's been translated, I think, in every language. I don't think there's anyone on the planet who can hear this book and it not resonate with them. I really feel this is a great book to give to people who are depressed. If you are depressed yourself or you know somebody who's depressed, this is a great book in Audible version so they can just listen to it very easily and hear the information. It's very powerful. And I highly recommend this book because it's just the information is outstanding and the insight to the way we think as humans, it's really, really good. Journey Out of Bodies, this one is the one that got me wanting to astral project. After listening to this one, I was just like so gung-ho to do this because the stories were so cool. You know, by this point, I was already on the spiritual path. I listened to those other books where they were regressing people and they were describing the spirit realm. So by the time I listened to this one, I was all gung-ho for it. I trusted it, I believed it, and I was ready to do it. So yes, very powerful. Autobiography of a Yogi is another #1 pick for me. This book, Autobiography of a Yogi, is the one book that makes me feel the feeling of love the most. Like, I don't feel love by listening to books the way I have this book, other than the Bible. I've read the Bible back in my 20s, and I would feel overwhelming feeling of love, which was really powerful. But this one here, the stories, this is another one that got me to the crossroads. I had to decide if it was a bunch of lies and stories or if it was all true. So I went with true, and I didn't regret it. It was very powerful. I had some incredible experiences meditating, and it's the only information that I heard that spoke about the different astral realms that exist outside of the three-dimensional form we're all living and existing in now. So yeah, really good one. The Palladian agenda, interesting as well. It's supposed to be this woman, Barbara, who is a channeler, who's channeling information she's receiving from the Palladians about humanities and humanity's spirituality and stuff like that. It's interesting. I would keep it on the list. This one here, Alien Interview, I love this book. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. If it's not true, it's one of the best sci-fi stories I ever listened to. If it is true, holy cow. I really loved it. I thought it was amazing, the information in here, or the story, however you want to look at it. It did resonate with me. This galaxy is so massive that the information given in here was plausible to me. Completely plausible. But that's just my feeling, because by the time I heard this book in 2015, I was already progressing and had all these different experiences. And so it was in the realm of being true for me. And so here's another, Far Journeys by Robin Monroe. That's his second book. That was also really good. I definitely recommend all of Robin Monroe's book. The Domain Expeditionary Force Rescue was a part 2 to the Alien Interview. Also really, really good. Highly, highly recommend listening or reading those books. Some of them are available on YouTube if you don't want to purchase it. If you look up the titles, you can find either the same reader reading it or another person reading the book, but it is available. Ultimate Journeys, another Robin Monroe, is a must. Destiny of Souls, again, it's another book where people are being regressed into past lives and telling their stories, and it's really just amazing to hear. David Wilcock, I really enjoy his work. He takes a lot of scientific experiments that were done, and he shows and proves how true things are. And I recommend that as well. So here's 2016, and all good, all great information. Oh, here, the gossip of Mary Magdalene. Basically, well, in here, Mary Magdalene was the only female apostle that walked with Christ. She was the one to see Christ rise from the grave, which is why Christianity was born, because she saw Christ rise from the grave. She saw the resurrection of Christ. And I was shocked after learning about her and learning about her writings, how her writings were not in the Bible. You would think the only female perspective on Jesus Christ, because she walked with them, would have been in the book, and it wasn't. I mean, the good book, the Bible. Luckily, her writings were found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and although some of the pages and some of the information were missing, you'll get a very touching female perspective on the whole thing. And if you're a woman, if you're a man, if you believe in Jesus, definitely listen to that one or read it. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene, her writings. Here we are in 2017 now. I really like David Wilcock's work, so I would recommend any of David Wilcock's books and Greg Braden's books. Really good information they share. The Book of Enoch is wild. Like, a lot of people who believe in God, who've read the Bible, have never read the Book of Enoch, which was the book that existed when Christ was walking around. So it's very interesting information given there. It's yeah, it's wild. I think something happened with this book, because when I first listened to it, I heard things that were just crazy and outrageous. And I'm curious, I'm wondering if maybe the people reading the book like were ad-libbing and adding their own stuff to it, and then later it was pulled, and then someone else read it and did a better job. But either way, I heard so many wild stories in there that it's just crazy. It's wild to think, but it's definitely worth a listen. See what resonates with you. And that's important with anything you read or you hear. You got to see how it makes you feel, how you resonate with the information. The Law of One, amazing information. There was a woman who's, I don't know if it's Carla, the name on here, but a woman channeled Ra, also known as Thoth the Atlantean. She channeled him, and there were a lot of questions asked and answered in this book about the history of humanity, the spirituality. And the cool thing is, this was done in the early 80s, and a lot of it was proven in the 2000s when the science was able to catch up. They were able to prove so much, like 80% of what was written in this book in the 80s was proven throughout the decades. And it's really fascinating to hear. So I would definitely recommend that one. So here's from the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Book of Enoch and the Jubilee. Yeah, so these were all the books that I listened to. These are the books that got me to, oh, here's another Brian L. Weiss, Only Love Is Real. Yeah, that's another one that'll be on the list. Brian L. Weiss has some good information. Anyway, these are the books that really changed my life. Now, you saw my book listening started in 2011 until like 2019. So it was a progression throughout the years, and obviously there were a lot of different practices that I did in between, from astral projection and meditating. And I just got my answers. I saw the truth of the world, who we are, our purpose in this world. And anyway, I just wanted to share this information with you guys. I'm going to leave a link in the description box below of the books and the order in which I listened to them. So I don't know if that's going to make a difference for you, which order you're listening to it from. But if you're going to go on this journey with me and you want to listen to the same stuff, I would listen to it in the same order and take it from there. But otherwise, that's it for now. Peace out. I love you all, and I'll catch you later.